news. But first, in another story, this is another shocker, racializing the royals. That's the focus of tonight's angle. Harry and Meghan, Princess Diana's youngest son and American actress Meghan Markle, blew Brexit off the front pages today by announcing their engagement after 15 months of dating. They traveled to Africa and found true love.
Hugely refreshing to be able to get to know someone who isn't necessarily within your circle, doesn't know much about me, I don't know much about her. So to be able to start almost afresh, right from the beginning, and getting to know each other step by step. And then taking that huge leap of only 2 dates, and then going effectively on holiday together in the middle of nowhere, and showing a tent together and all that kind of stuff. It was fantastic.
How sweet. And when Buckingham Palace formally announced the Harry Markle engagement today, Prince Charles and the royals couldn't have been more pleased.
Thrilled, thank you very much, to both of them. I hope they'll be very happy indeed, is all I can say.
I always feel like I need a translator. I couldn't quite, he was happy. And you'd expect he's a proud father. But it was the reaction on social media. I was reading some of this on the way into work today, and I was screaming, both laughing and kind of crying. But it was kind of a shocker. Just moments after the engagement was announced, the social media was awash in racial overtones. And this was all because Meghan Markle's father is white and her mother is black. So suddenly, tweets and Facebook posts were harping on her racial identity. Now, warning, you got to forgive me here. There's a lack of basic grammar and punctuation, as in many tweets. Here we go. Some folks in England are about to lose their minds. Meghan Markle is biracial, black mom. She's older than he is, and she's an American actress. Hashtag black royalty. Another one. Good time to remind everyone that Meghan Markle is black, since I know y'all gonna try and whitewash the out of her. Another. Meghan Markle's mother, Prince Harry's now future mother-in-law, is a black African-American woman, social worker from LA with sister locks. Man, look, if that's blank don't make you smile big, congrats to the royal fam bam. I don't get fam bam. Y'all couldn't be more lucky to get both. Another one. Meghan Markle is white passing. She looks white. She's not even someone that likes Jasmine Sanders, who has light eyes and very light skin, but you can tell is black biracial. I straight up thought that was a tan white woman. Another. How much black is Meghan Markle? I just want to know that so I know how much blackness to expect from this wedding. Is she black enough for the Cupid shuffle wobble? Hashtag royal engagement. Another to torture you with. Y'all, Meghan Markle is of mixed race. We got a black princess. Hashtag Meghan Markle. Well, actually, Meghan Markle will not be a princess. She'll be a duchess. And I know we're fascinated by royalty, but must we transfer our racial hang-ups onto this young, happy couple? Can't we just celebrate and be happy for them for their engagement and leave it at that? And as for the racially obsessed, in point of fact, Markle will not be the first black royal in Europe. That would be this woman, the beautiful Princess Angela of Liechtenstein, who married Prince Maximilian back in 2000. And Meghan Markle's race is probably the least interesting part of this story. Now, why am I saying that? Because it turns out the Queen is permitting Harry to wed not only a divorcee, because Meghan was divorced, but possibly more historically significant, a woman who was raised Catholic. So let's forget about the race of the royal bride or how she identifies. We've had a biracial president of the United States, and we're about to have a biracial member of the English royal family. But not every moment has to be about race. Now let me get back to my Cyber Monday shopping. There's a royal wedding medallion and plate that I can order, and it's apparently 75% off. I don't care about the color of the plate either. And that's the angle. Joining us now to analyze Horace Cooper. He's the co-chair of Project 21 and from New York. Clay Kane, he's the Sirius XM radio host and Democratic strategist. All right, Horace, let me start with you. Like the morning, going into work, going to do my radio show, and I start seeing, I mean, there were some tweets that were so, they were so profane, as is Twitter is wont to be, that were so over the top. Like, get ready, bees. This is our bee who's going to be, you know, in Buckingham Palace. I mean, getting a lot of things wrong about that, but why does everything have to be about race here? Why is it relevant to this?
It's not relevant, and it's actually pretty sad and pitiful. Here's the thing. If this were 1955 and I saw some of these kind of comments, I'd go, which segregationist racist said this today? They noticed in the 1940s and the 1950s every single aspect about anybody's race as their primary attribute. It wasn't, is this person going to pay their bill? Is this person going to buy this house and move in and be a good neighbor? It was what color? What color was their grandmother? That kind of weird fixation. And we got away from it, but all of a sudden, progressives have brought it back. And too many times, I don't hear anybody on the left saying, stop that. Don't do that. They condemn a lot of white Americans and many Republicans who weren't even around actively holding office in the South for their silence while this misbehavior was taking place. Well, we're here now. People are around. Why aren't we seeing condemnations? Some of the things you said, I just think that was outrageous. Not just bad, outrageous.
Clay, let's go to you on this because the future Duchess actually has said before, when she was dating Harry, she said she found it disheartening and discriminatory that some in the media were focusing on her racial identity and not just on their relationship because it centered on her racial background. Why the obsession with her race when it's just a happy couple? I mean, aren't we supposed to be about content of our character, not the color of our skin?
Well,
aren't we there yet?
Well, what you're talking about is a comment she made to the British press because they were calling her something like a LA gangster, that she's straight out of Compton, that she's from South Central. So the British press made her race an issue, and Prince Harry said, stop doing that. Listen, I feel like Horace is acting like we are post-racial, that race doesn't exist. For a lot of black mixed-race people in Britain, this is something to be celebrated. You're pulling out some silly tweets from Twitter. I can find tweets from Twitter that are calling Meghan horrible names. This is a good thing. It's to be celebrated. And if you know the history of the royal family, you would know that this is a bit of history. Just like, you know, when you have somebody breaking ground, you can celebrate that. But pulling out random silly tweets off Twitter from somebody, whoever they are, is ridiculous. And Horace always acts like racism is over. It doesn't exist. It does exist. So this is actually celebrating progress.
But what does this have?
Progress,
this has nothing to do with racism. But the point here is this has nothing to do with racism at all. This has to do with a happy couple. So when you say you're breaking ground, she wasn't elected. She fell in love with someone. Why is that breaking ground? She seems like a really lovely person.
If you know the history of the royal family, you don't see many black or mixed race people in the royal family. And again, you're not a mixed race person.
That's not why Harry married her. That's not why
Prince
Harry is
it's still symbolic,
her, right?
Laura. It's still symbolic, and it's still important. If you don't think it's important, then you're not a black or mixed race person from Britain.
Okay.
It's important.
Wait.
First of all, no, hold on. I have to ask both of you a question. I want to be fair and balanced here. And Horace, there is a sentiment here that certain black people aren't authentically black. I've seen it directed at my old boss, Justice Thomas. I've seen it directed by people like Tom Sowell, other African Americans who don't think a certain way about race or act a certain way. Is there something about being authentically black? Is she not authentically black? I saw that all over social media today.
I think that is the nasty idea that race is who we are and not simply an attribute of who we are. The truth of the matter is, if there were some tweets that happened to say, we like the fact that this wonderful woman has this background, and we had read that, we might have said, that's interesting.
There were several tweets like that, Horace. There were several tweets like that.
My point is, there's been no condemnation of the kinds of comments that have no basis in reality and show a fixation on race. And we are never going to get to the point where people are human beings as long as we revel in this fixation.
Clay, let's give you the last word.
Okay. Acting like race doesn't exist is not going to make race go away. It's not going to make racism go away. We have to be able to see color and accept it, see color and talk about it. And acknowledging that she is a black mixed race woman is not a bad thing. I don't know why that threatens you or makes you uncomfortable or scares you. It's not. It's a good thing to be celebrated. It's progress in the royal family, and for a lot of black mixed race people in Britain, this is a good sign. It's a good thing. And maybe you just can't understand that or relate to that.
I can't understand a racial fixation, and that's what we're seeing.
Celebration is not fixation, Horace. Celebration is not fixation. No, it's not. Saying that she is a black mixed race woman in the royal family is not fixation, and you can't compare it to 1950.
That drove segregation by saying the primary thing about a person
you know what,
is their
Horace?
race.
I don't think that's what she wants.
No, I don't think she wants that either. I don't think she wants that either.
She's just a young woman who's getting married.
Exactly,
and
she's talked about her race.
But why is so much in America? A lot of this came out of America. Why are so many
and the British press is too, Laura.
And a lot of these people are in the Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson, race-focused mindset.
Al Sharpton didn't say anything.
Why are we placing their hang-ups on this happy couple? They're happy because they're in love.
Absolutely.
I imagine Prince Harry is in love with her. Doesn't have anything to do with her skin color. It's that he fell in love with her.
Listen, again, celebration is not fixation. Celebration is not fixation.
All right, both of you.
I'll see you next time.
We'll have another conversation about this, I'm sure.